Hello and welcome to another iTeacher tutorial. This time we're going to look at a mind mapping tool called Popplet. Now there are two versions as you can see on my screen. One is called Popplet and the other one is called Popplet Lite. As you can imagine, Popplet Lite is free but limited, and Popplet is the full version. I'm going to show you Popplet Lite because that's probably the one you're going to try out first. The difference between Popplet and Popplet Lite is that Popplet Lite will only allow you to have one Popplet going at one time, whereas the real Popplet will allow you to have multiple copies and multiple presentations. The key difference is, and it's a big difference, and it's well worth upgrading for your pupils, is that Popplet is collaborative. And I'll talk about that in a minute. What I'm going to do then is go into Popplet Lite, and you see you get your very basic. It is very basic, and I think that's part of the appeal. It's very simple and it's easy to use. So the first thing you need to do is double tap. Double tap brings up one of these, what's called a Popplet. Now you can see then around the outside there are 4 grey circles. Each one of those will open up a node. If you pull it, like I'm going to do now on the right hand side, you can see it becomes grey and a new Popplet will appear, and you can put your finger in there and move it. So let's just say that the pupils were doing a topic. I'm going to go back to this one. I'm going to push the T button because T button brings up text, and I'm going to say, call this one Romans. Let's just say we're doing a topic on Romans. And that's my key hub, the main one. So what I might want to do to this one is tap in it again, double tap to bring up the text, and I'm going to call this one Daily Life because that's going to be one of the nodes. And what I want to do is just distinguish this one, Daily Life, from Romans. I'm going to use this button here, which is the outline button on the far left. And when I tap it, I'm going to make that red. Now, I mentioned earlier on that Popplet, the paid version, is collaborative. What's really cool about that is that you can then invite somebody. So if you're a student and you were doing this project with 2 or 3 others in a collaborative presentation, you can say to somebody, I want you to do the red one, which is Daily Life. Here's the email. They follow the link. It opens up in their iPad, and together you can begin to work on the same Popplet, which is fantastic. There's not many apps that allow you to do that. So going back to Daily Life, I'm going to click on it now. I've got a little arrow, a little cross here, and that means I can switch that off. Just basically delete it if I want to. Along the bottom, you can see the frame button, the text button, which I've shown you, and there's also a little pencil button. Now I'm going to drag one of these arrows, the red arrows, to make it bigger. When you click the pen, you get a chance to draw something. So I'm going to choose pink. It's not brilliant, but just to represent something daily life, I'm going to put a little house. I'm not quite sure how Roman that is, but you get the idea. And again, if I push away from the actual Popplet, I can use the 2 fingers again to pinch and to draw, to draw together and to zoom in and zoom out. So it's starting to come together now. Let's go back into it again. The last thing I'm going to show you then is the picture button. So it's really cool because you can actually add your own pictures. So I'm going to add one, but so you can open it from the library as usual or take a photo, and I'm going to take a photo. So in the absence of having anything Roman to actually take a photograph of, I'm just going to take a picture of my remote. And when it's done, I just push the use photo. I don't want to rotate it left or right, and I'm just going to push done and add it in. Another really cool thing is that now what I can do if I wanted to is going back to the drawing tool, choosing a colour. You can then annotate over the top if you so want to. Like I said before, it's not great for drawing, but it is quite good for annotating. The great thing, like I said before, is the fact that it's collaborative, the fact that pupils can share work with each other, be working on the same project, and you can see. So what is really good as well, because where the Popplet is, the pupil's name who actually created that Popplet will appear inside the box. And so you get an idea when you're marking which children have done what and how many children haven't done anything. So that's quite good as well. That's why Popplet makes our core apps list